his fate, as well as the world's, we must measure up to the challenge of real and respectable strength.
Guys, I'm honored to be here. I think that, humbled by it too. I think that I miss high school coaching. I'm only a year out of it, but I think what I miss most is the camaraderie amongst us, and I'm looking out into like a group of people who I learned a lot from and brought out the best of me as a competitor, over the course of the 13 years I coached in high school. So glad to be here. I miss it, miss it a lot. There's a few things I don't miss about it. I'm going to play you one of those right now. I'm going to keep a file of these. Oh man, how can I click on this? Bear with me. I want to click on that audio. Put it right here. You help me with the volume? Timing. Timing's everything, and I'm blowing it up here. What I'm playing you. Here we go.
Rating, you have just relied on last year's progress report of any boy who participated in any lacrosse event. The whole system is bullshit, you're bullshit, and no wonder the team sucks.
We got to the end of it, but anyway, that's what I don't miss about high school coaching. That's an angry lax mom calling me after tryouts. But I thought that, I don't know, I just wanted to start things off. Anytime I'm feeling too good about myself, I play that. My ego gets a little too big. I like to play that. But I wanted to, before I get into like the position specific stuff and talk about defense. I do like to read about coaching. I like to, I stumble upon things, and this one just kind of made too much sense to me not to share it, because it really helps me when I'm talking about like player development and how we're going about our business and coaching kids. And the Bronco Mendenhall is the longtime BYU coach. I think he's only 50 years old. He just got hired to coach at UVA. He makes a lot of money. He's successful. He's a really successful guy. I don't know too much about him. I just know that he's a darn good football coach and won a lot of games. But he talks about this model for coaching, and these are like the lessons that he uses, and it resonated with me. It certainly helped me think about player development and some of the people I've coached and who they are. So he talks about these 5 levels. Okay, the first level is spirit. Okay. And spirit is the want to. Okay, that's good stuff. That's you fall in love with the game. You want to maybe emulate someone that played the game. You want to put yourself out there. You want to be good. You've got energy and passion and enthusiasm, and that's all good stuff. Okay, but the spirit is only as good as the will, and he talks about the will as the second level. And the will is what happens when you confront pain and all the things that we kind of associate with pain, sacrifice and effort and things like that. So we start to see all these characteristics come out in people when they're confronted with pain. Some guys kind of come by this naturally, and some other guys need this to be stoked, and that's part of the art of coaching and what you guys do. And then the next level to this is like he calls it position mastery. Okay, and that's what I'm going to spend time talking about. Is like how we get things done on the field, and what we're trying to teach our players. But we can't get there without the spirit and the will to get there. So I'll talk about all this stuff. But I think as we as coaches, we come back to that, and I really like this model, because we might be in day 3 of practice, and we're just not seeing the will on the field, and we have to come back to this. Like, guys, we can't move into learning how to play this defense if we're not giving 100% effort when things get painful. And then obviously the next level to this, he talks about execution. All right, and that's after you kind of know what you're doing. Now it's the guy next to you who knows what he's doing, and execution is the performance. Right? Taking it now to the performance in a game atmosphere, and having everyone on the same page and playing, playing at a high level. And then the highest level of this is what he calls competitive greatness. I think he takes that from the John Wooden top of the pyramid, competitive greatness, which is the ability to be at your best when your best is demanded of you. So, this model just helps me. It helps me talk about kids. It helps me talk about, what we're trying to achieve, what we're trying to accomplish. Again, I'm going to move this along as fast as I can, but I'm always trying to tell our guys, like, what does good look like? What do we want to see in our defensemen? Trying to point it out all the time. I think we would agree about all these things. I'll move that on. These are the things that I would just call the gravy, like takeaway ability, picking off passes, being an offensive threat. And that's really stuff that we don't work on too much. We're really more concerned about the on-ball, off-ball, with the ball principles here. I'm going to move this, on-ball stance. I had this in my locker, and it's from Lacrosse Magazine in maybe 2014. P.T. Ritchie, who was here, probably coached this guy. This is Joe Fletcher. And, he just talks about things in these blurs, you can't see them. But one of them is just the athletic stance right away. But he talks about pointing that stick in the opposite shoulder, like knowing which hand, but assume this guy knows he's a lefty. He wants to force him to his left hand. Point that stick, once you get in your athletic stance, point that stick at his opposite shoulder. And I never thought about that when I played. I just had the stick out. I was ready to slash a guy, when you make a move. But little things, getting your upper body on that shoulder as well, dictating path, getting that stick out as well. So I come back to stance all the time. When we start our one-on-one drills. Okay, so non-contact stuff. Pre-practice stuff. I thought Coach Hiles had some good ones. One of the things that I am big on right now is this slide, which is I want to blend stick work in with our footwork. So, practicing defense is mundane. It is. It's not sexy. It's not fun. You're not, you don't have the ball in your stick a lot of the time. I want to change that up for us. I want to make sure that we are. We're running drills, we're running footwork drills, and there's a ball at the end of it. That's how I want to create like a finish mentality to our drills. Okay, and the first one we do is we do this box, like just a box box footwork, where we just create like a 5-yard square box. Okay. And we just tell that we run a pattern in that box. Let's say this is the box. It could be run up, shuffle across, break back diagonal, break over. You've got one group running one at a time in that box. You got another group over here, and then after they're done, and we're constantly talking about developing like quick twitch muscles as defensemen, like quick twitch mentality, tearing up the turf, moving fast, throwing your stick in a passing lane, doing things quickly, shorter intervals, to create that finish the drill mentality. This is the box footwork. These are guys that. Does that play? Yeah. So they're just running up a box. Then we roll the ball out. Okay, and they're picking it up, moving along, getting some touches. All right. So we'll do that with a group, a line of guys. 2 at a time. You might even do 3. Then you roll the ball out. You get creative with it. Whatever you think might work. Mirror footwork. This is like, you run your footwork drills. I like to add this because it just adds that element of unpredictable footwork. All right. So one guy is here. He's got the ball, simulating that he has the ball, and he's just trying to move this guy side to side. We're just doing a shuffle. Move him side to side. And then take off. Now we're working on that drop step when he takes off. All right, getting our hands on him. No ball in that one, but kind of get what I. Skeleton from X. You know, more of a 70% drill here. Okay, the 3 steps of basically defending a guy from behind. We want to start off with a good stance and a good poke. As he gets to 3 yards behind the goal line, we engage the hands. Okay, now we're starting to get that, absorb the contact. And then let's say he gets, close to the island. We're working on the turn, getting that right leg around and driving him out. Okay. And then at the end of this, maybe, we're thinking we throw a ball out. Now he's getting out in the clear. Okay. But, again, just this is a teaching thing. This is kind of what we expect to see when you're guarding a guy. We're obviously not live here. Let's see if we get it here. Again, these are some of Conestoga's finest. I still work there. I'm a guidance counselor there. So they're all seniors. They're not PSAs. I'm compliant. And then for the short stick D mids, a footwork drill that is kind of pre-practice stuff. I think this will start in a second. Should got some animation here. Yeah, so we're just working on this alley dodge or high wing dodge, which we see a lot. Reds on offense, blues defending, and we end it with a drill. But we're essentially just up here. The footwork is at like a 45-degree angle. Once he gets into the box, we want to think about that. As you're the defensive midfielder, getting your bottom foot even with his. Your bottom foot even with his top shoulder. So you're forcing that alley dodge. And then we do talk a lot about this jam technique and the jam concept. We practice it. And, I think some of the things I emphasize there is stepping to that contact as opposed to, retreating, stepping to that contact. John Haas's son was probably the best at that, the Duke kid that, was just a tremendous defensive midfielder, really couldn't get past him. And then, I also think about, what's your best contact hand with our D-mids? I talked to them about that. What's your best punch hand? You have to deliver a blow to this kid once he gets 18 yards above 15 yards above here. We got to deliver a blow. So are you going to deliver that right-handed? Are you okay with doing that two-handed? Are you left-handed? And then as far as this, when I play basketball, it's always look at the guy's numbers. Look at the guy's numbers. They tell D-backs that in football. Stare at the guy's numbers. We tell our short stick D-mids, stare at this zone. You can hit him in the hips, but you can hit him up here too. I don't care where it is. Don't go too high, all right, because now we're in trouble. This guy's probably not supposed to use your head like that, but that looks good to me. I'll take that. So on-ball contact drills. And I'm just going to talk about one-on-ones and some of the one-on-one stuff that we do. First, talk about the cone one-on-one drill. This goal happens a lot. We're playing Fairfield, and it looks like we're playing pretty good defense here. But what's going to happen is this guy's going to get the ball, and he's just going to get to the middle on this kid, and he's going to get his hands free, and we're kind of late with the slide, and we're not going to get there. So it's just, we've all seen this goal before. We see it a little too much. It just gets to the middle. A little too easy. So we set up this cone drill where we're basically putting offensive guys on either side. Defensive lines are up here. A cone is here about where the hash is. And these are, again, quick reps. Feeding a guy above goal line. We got middies in here. We got defensemen in here working. And these guys are trying to get to the middle of the field. We're trying to prevent it. This is a painful, this is like getting back to this. There's contact here. There's confrontation here. You know, you kind of get to see who your competitors here are with this drill. Coach is up here throwing balls in, kind of see what's going on. Now we're over here working. My guy just didn't catch the ball, but get creative. Again, we want to dictate path with our feet, get our feet upfield, get our stick out. Kind of constantly critiquing them while this was happening. You know, I wish we could run this a little more and kind of critique everything, but we'll move it forward. So that's cone one-on-one. Rapid fire one-on-one. We do this with our defensemen and our attack personnel behind, but you know, sometimes we have to tell the attack, like, just go 80% right now for the defense. Right? We're just going to go 85%, and we're going to work on the turn and, you know, kind of know what's happening. Telling our defense we know what's happening, but the attackmen are allowed to step, like what Coach Haas was saying, you're getting to the goal line extended, you know, turn, throw it back to X. The rule to this drill for the attack is like, when we go live, it's like, if you can't turn the corner, you got to throw it back to X. All right, and we're ready to go right again with another. So rapid fire one-on-ones from behind. And what we do here with this, the defensive line is up here. Okay, and as he gets here, and we're defending, we're engaged, he starts to kind of drift back. He's got a foot in the crease, and he's ready to approach on that pass. So just kind of run the animation for you. All right, just turning the corner, throwing back, constant. But you don't have to go to the same side every time. We can rotate the side. We have a goalie in there too. I don't know why he's not in there. But kind of get the concept of that. One-on-one from the island. Okay, we just start him at the 5-on-5. We don't even go through the whole corners things. We're just like let's start in that engaged confrontation at 5-on-5. And why I want to do that for my defensemen is because we have a bad habit of we take the bait sometimes. We put that stick over his head, and now all of a sudden we're out of position and he gets middle on us. So this is about discipline for the defenseman. For the attackman, it's about stepping away. It's about, you know, a rocker step. You know, again, pretty quick reps we're getting out of this. And we just start from that engaged spot. They're getting up and down, and now we're playing. And again, try to add the touch after the drill. If the goalie makes a save, let's get a breakout so we get our defenseman. So that's what I asked for Christmas for Coach Corrado. I was like, I can't have our defensemen go 4 minutes without touching the ball in practice. I can't have it. Denver killed us last year because we couldn't end possessions. Okay, we got to get better with our sticks. And I'll get into that in a minute. One-on-one versus deny. Again, now we're a coach here with balls. Denying a pass, we don't do a lot of it, but I like this drill because, you know, it's a tough one-on-one battle. This guy's got to shake loose and get open, try to make it realistic, be sort of in the crease area. It's a good one to review if you're, you know, playing a crease guy. I like it because it really teaches the defender just staying between the ball and your man. Okay, staying between the ball and your man, shutting off, taking a peek at the ball, quick feet. All that stuff. So, you know, we'll just run it. Just take a second to load, but he's just trying to shake. Maybe he gets backdoor. We feed it in, you know, and then we can run it from either side, denying that pass. The off-ball non-contact. I'm going to move beyond that. Now, I'll talk about a few. This one. We call this one the tip drill, and this is why. We have to work on this. So this is man down. We're playing Lehigh. And this defenseman here will kind of engage and step out. And the ball will go this way. And because he's slow to recover, and he's slow to swing his stick in a passing lane, this pass gets through, and they get a really good step down shot. Okay, now this happens in man down, but this is happening in college lacrosse, where they, you know, a dodge happens and they bang it down the side, and you usually think it's going to be like 2 passes in the same direction. Well, a lot of teams now will pass it once in one direction, and then they'll kind of throw it against the grain and look for that skip pass. We just see that a lot more. So we have to get good at, okay, you just play defense, there's no deep breath. You've got to throw your stick in a passing lane and recover. So here's the goal that gets scored. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. Yeah, that to me is unacceptable. He's on the ball, and he's kind of and then he throws it in. It's like, no, you're on the ball, step in, step to the hat, whatever you say, get your butt back in there and take away that skip. So for the sort of scheme of this, like, these are just no defense here. These might be injured guys we're doing this with. Alley dodge, throw it down the side, quick skip across, and maybe a step down. Okay, so if we now we'll add 2 defensemen in the drill, and this one we'll do a tip drill with no slide. So this guy can work on kind of a 2-step hedge, and then as soon as he gives it up, this guy's trying to throw that skip across, and this guy is getting a stick in the lane. We're trying to knock that down or pick it off. Again, quick reps, get it up and out. All right. Now we'll do that with a slide recovery. So, all right, let's say now we got a slide. So we got a fire, or whatever, find one, fire. This guy will then rotate to the crease. Now you just slid. All right. Now you got to throw your stick in the lane. All right. You just did your job. Now you got to get off him, get on the ball. A lot of things going into that. So we're working on that. See if this runs. Fire, find one. Now we're tipping it, trying to pick it off and get it out. Getting quick reps on these. Getting a lot of guys in, cycling them through. Transition. I love transition drills. Obviously, it's great for our defense to play, man down. But I would say avoid continuous 4-on-3 drills. I think that, like pregame, we used to do that at Conestoga all the time. And then now I'm scratching my head. I'm like, why the hell did we do that? We just our defense just got scored on 20 times in our warm-up. Like, how it just doesn't feel good. Like, psychologically, it does something to my guys. I don't want it. It does something to my goalie. So 4-on-3, fine. You guys want to do 4-on-3, that's great. But let's add a phase 2 of that where we're rolling out another ball for our defensemen, and now they have to clear it, either 4-on-3 or something like that. Coach talked about the tennis ball. Tennis balls are great. I think they're good for hands, but they're also good for our defensive guys. You see your defense play 4-on-3 against a tennis ball, they're in all the right spots. They're closing out like men, because if they take a ball in the chest with a tennis ball, they're like, all right, man, no big deal, right? And it's like, you want to see your defense look good, play against tennis ball. But I think there's value to it, I do, because they take the angles that you want them to take. So this is the phase 2 of the 4-on-3 that I was talking about. So they just played their 4-on-3. Red is on defense. Okay, I'm a coach here. I'm going to roll the ball to a corner. I'm telling the attack or the offensive guys in blue, let this guy get the ball. All right, but when he gets the ball, let's double him and put him in a phone booth. Like get after him. We have to work on getting that ground ball, escaping a double team, and redirecting it to the goalie or getting it to the other side. So we'll play that one through. Double them, redirect it. I think you got to send one guy off. Like after you can send one of the offensive guys off just so you get the odd man on the clear, or not. Or keep him on. I don't know. Why redirection? I like this kid. I feel bad I'm putting it on here, but like this happened. This is a college lacrosse player. Like this actually happened, and. We say run to the sideline, he runs to the sideline, but man, wouldn't it be great if this kid has the skill set to roll back, put it in his left, and make this redirect pass. And, he's going to learn now. He's going to learn now. That can't happen, right? So putting this stuff together, these are half-field drills that I think emphasized all the phases of what we're looking for in defense. The Y drill, that's just the Y shape, that we were discussing, where you have two up top, one on the crease and one behind. And let's see if we have any footage of Y drill here. We just have an animation of it, but Reds on offense, they're kind of in sort of a Y here, but I'm just looking for, who's hot, who's two, foot in the paint here, kind of breaking down this 4-on-3. We have to tell the offense to kind of try to stay in this Y shape. We really have to talk to this guy a lot about, like, you're kind of like a dog on a chain back there, because this is the only backside support, so if, like, this guy really cheats, then they could score a lot. So you kind of have to have that attackman help us out a little bit. We might have to set some rules in this drill. Early in the season, we may say to the offense, like, you can't go to the goal until we have two successful slide recoveries. Okay, so we're almost like rehearsing our slide recovery. It's like, offense, help the defense out. All right, we're going to run through this 85%. Let's do a couple slide recoveries. Let's shuffle the deck on our defense. Now we're going 100%. So, I'm sort of doing that for our defense. I think our offense has a hard time being patient with that, but it's kind of part of the whole team process of kind of looking out for their guys. So we want them to maintain this shape in the offense. It's kind of a good drill. Again, you're working on your crease slide recovery. X drill, we're adding a guy to that. So we're just adding an attackman behind. So in the X drill, it's just the X shape, like 5 on a die shape, and you're getting more attack dodges out of that. You just are. We can run some of the Y drill. This is a Villanova practice. Just 30 seconds of it here, but pick play. We're getting out, good approaches here. If there's a find one situation, we got a guy. My laser we're running guys in. Where's the ball? Ball starts here. We're in this Y shape, and we're helping here. We're sagging. These guys just love to set picks. Pretty slow to get that recovery there. So, we're fortunate, to get a lot of film so our guys can even look at practice and we can critique it. This next one is the plus shape. So if Blues on offense, it's 1-3-1, 5-on-5 set. And Duke University puts out their clinics online. You can go on to Duke's website and see them. They're great. Danowski does a great job, and they do like a series of 3. And one of the things that I got from them this year was this concept. They have 2 defenses. Blue is their man-to-man slide from the crease. White is their adjacent slide, slide from the near man. But then they'll say they have kind of like this audible call called gray. I have to tell Danowski that when you mix blue and white, it doesn't make gray. So anyway, they call it gray. So gray is essentially like all these offenses are crease pop oriented. Right? Everyone pops a crease guy off. So this guy is hot, but he can't camp out there because this guy's going to pop. He might pop early. Usually this guy will dodge, this guy will clear through. So what gray is to them is this defenseman who's clearing through, essentially is becoming the hot guy. It's an audible read, and he's got to step outside of him to get outside leverage and assume that hot response, almost like jumping a route or something. So that's why we haven't done this yet. It's just kind of came to me like, we got to do that. I think it's a good way to defend some of these two-man game stuff scenarios that you see. But pop-oriented, it's hard. It's hard to defend. this is kind of what, the action and how it looks. So he takes on, and then we're just kind of playing out of it. But that's what I want the offense to do for us, is get in this kind of plus look, 1-3-1 look, and play out of that. All right, with the ball. Okay, so talking about hand placement on the pole. This is Denver. Okay, this is Denver clearing the ball against us. And just, I don't know, there's one thing I noticed. There's 3 poles that touch the ball. There's 1, there's 2. That's a goalie. That's another one. There's another one. Then they just kind of punt return with this guy. And we don't sub very well. They actually have numbers, but they're so patient that they pour. So, what I noticed about Denver, every single defenseman has a pole with 14 inches of tape at the base of their stick. Okay? And every time they're in a clearing situation, or every time the ball's on the ground, everybody chokes up. They all choke up on their stick. They're basically saying, like, catching is more important to us than an attackman that might be able to ride me and check my butt in. Throwing and catching is more. There's something to that for me. I'm like, that's good. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna tell our guys, let's choke up and have sure hands on our sticks. Wall ball at a minimum 3 times a week before I put this up. I just want our guys throwing the ball against the wall. It's as important as it is their weight routine. And a lot of this stuff is catch cradle, catch no cradle. That's not really a quick stick. That's catch. Don't take your time and throw it back. It's not. I think when you say quick stick, they start batting at the ball, or they don't quite get the fundamentals down. But just no cradle. All right, catch it and don't cradle it. Put it back on the wall. Face dodge after catch. Switch hands after throw while ball is in midair. That's kind of higher level stuff. But throw it, switch your hands, catch it. Throw it, switch your hands, catch it. Just developing hands. And then other additional stuff, this is kind of like the stuff the non-negotiables, right? And then you want to get creative with it. All right, walk the dog, catch it, make a move. All right, walk the dog and then bring it up and throw it up against the wall again. Do something with your stick, shovel passes against the wall. Over the shoulder catches, so you throw it against the wall and then you target here and you catch it behind your head. And let's do this with those Denver hands. Let's get the hands up and do it that way. And then ground ball play. I like to do clock ground balls where you have just groups of 3 or 4 with a ball, and we have the football number sign. So it's like pick up the ball, get around that number, throw it back to the first guy in line. And and you play and catch it and sort of play it to yourself. So catch it in line, play it to yourself, go out, scoop it, run around the cone or the number, just throw it to the first guy in line. First one, just pick it up and throw it. Second one, hockey it. Hockey it to yourself. Pick it up again, get around that cone, and now we're just running that. Third one, kick it. All right, but don't just kind of kick it, soccer it, but get out there, sort of box it out. All right, be a little patient with it, like you're boxing a guy out, then give it a kick. But we'll do that. We actually do that with everybody, but we like to do it with our defensemen. They need it a lot. We'll go from there. I couldn't animate all the guys, so it's just like one. This is just kind of what it looks like. The full field stick work drill that I like to do with the whole team, that I'm kind of focused on the defensemen when we're doing this. This is my favorite one. I saw Marquette do this. But you throw your short sticks in here, and they're kind of their lines are spoking out, all right? And they're just throwing over the shoulder passes and dumping it to the corner. These are your defensemen. And what's nice is your goalie's going to be getting a warm up in here while this is happening. Just kind of open up the field, so keep playing it. This is that redirect that we're working on, and they can work on, big turns here. You could change it. You could bring those lines in, so now we're, once you throw it to the defenseman, he's having to get out to the corner, get around the cone, and do something. You can add like a ground ball escape to this. The middies are just, again, following their pass, rotating in these 6 lines. The defensemen just kind of stay in their spots. They're not following their pass. You could add goalies to this too. You could say, work on the outlet pass. So if the goalie, you could just get rid of these lines, throw your poles in here, working over the shoulder. Now you're dumping it to the goalie. He's making 1, 2, 3, more fast pace moving up the field. All right, this one. This is just how we monitor how we're doing. During the course of the season, what we're doing, the goals that we put up for our team. We've got offensive team goals, special teams goals, defensive goals, and these are mine. Hold the opponents scoreless for 13-minute stretches. Are we doing that? Hold an opponent to 3 goals or less in every quarter. And then we have our games up here. We just, if we get it, we press yes. We click yes. Keeping stats, kind of understanding where we are. 10 goals a game or less. No goals in the last minute of every quarter. We didn't do so well in that one. First 3 games last year. And then some of the team stuff, like score first in the 3rd quarter, 15 or less turnovers a game. We had to change that. So we were doing pretty well with that. So we dropped that down to 13. 5 penalties or less, 5 or less penalties. Out ground ball the opponent, that's a problem. Okay. And then offense, this is Simon stuff. I don't know. I don't even know what all this stuff means. But that's it. I mean, I think that you can get creative with the drills. I think that one thing I didn't talk about is like 2-on-2 and the pick play. That's a topic, I think for another clinic talk. But hope that you got something out of that. Again, appreciate this opportunity, and thank you guys for listening.